Hello, hello. Hope you had a great Christmas break. Hope you had time to just relax, maybe play out in the snow. But now we're ready to get back into the swing of things. So before Christmas break, we had started talking about ancient Egypt and started covering some of the geography and different things about it. And today, you're going to do a little bit of a review, or in class, we did a little bit of a review, refresher, and then we talked about hieroglyphics. So we have book pages that we're going to read first about hieroglyphics, and then we have a worksheet that we're going to complete about hieroglyphics. So you can see here the directions say to read the hieroglyphic book pages below, watch the video on my plan book, which you are now, to hear me read the book pages and explain how to do the worksheet. Then number 2, you're going to do the hieroglyphic worksheet below. You're going to put your answers on a separate piece of paper and send me a picture of your answers. You can send that through Teams. You can send it, in the chat on Teams. You can attach it to the assignment. You can send it through email, through Remind, whatever works for you. And then once you complete that, then you click Turn It In. We'll be good to go. So to get to book pages, you'll click Book Pages. You'll open up here. And I always like to zoom in. It just makes it a little easier to see. So we're going to read 121 or 102 and page 103. To zoom in, you just move the mouse a little, click zoom, and I always do 100%, but whatever works for you. So we're going to go down here to where it says Egyptian writing. We're going to start reading there. If you were reading a book and saw pictures of a folded cloth, a leg, a star, a bird, and a man holding a stick, would you know what that meant? You would if you were an ancient Egyptian. In the Egyptian writing system, or hieroglyphics, those 5 symbols together meant to teach. So if you saw a picture of a cloth, a leg, a star, a bird, and a man, that meant to teach. Egyptian hieroglyphics were one of the world's first writing systems. Writing in ancient Egypt. The earliest known examples of Egyptian writing are from around 3300 BC. These early Egyptian writings were carved in stone or on other hard material. Later, the Egyptians learned how to make papyrus, which is a long-lasting paper-like material made from reeds. So it was a paper-like material that they wrote on. The Egyptians made papyrus by pressing layers of reeds, which is a type of plant, together and pounding them into sheets. These sheets were tough and durable, yet they were easy to roll into scrolls. They did that so they could store them. Scribes, or professional writers, wrote on papyrus using brushes and ink. So they didn't have pencils or pens, so they'd have to use paintbrushes, dip them in ink, and then write on the papyrus paper. So now we're going over here. If you need to scoot it over, you can just scroll on over. So up here you can see some examples of what their hieroglyphic writing was like. Like they said earlier, they wrote on stone, did different pictures on stone. The hieroglyphic writing system used more than 600 symbols, mostly pictures of objects. We have 26 letters in our alphabet. They had 600 symbols that they had to know. Each symbol represented one or more sounds in the Egyptian language. For example, a picture of an owl represented the same sound as our letter M. Hieroglyphics could be written either horizontally, which is the way our words are written, they're horizontally, or the words could be written vertically, so they could be written up and down. Now, when they're writing them horizontally, they could go from left to right, like ours, or, sometimes they might go from right to left. Or sometimes you would read it from top to bottom, but sometimes you'd read it from bottom to top. So these options made hieroglyphics flexible, meaning they had different ways they could write it, but very difficult to read. The only way to tell which way a text is written is to look at the individual symbols. And so here we're at the Rosetta Stone. Historians and archaeologists have known about hieroglyphics for centuries, but for a long time they didn't know how to read them. In fact, it was not until 1799 when a lucky discovery by a French soldier gave historians the key they needed to read ancient Egyptian writing. That key was the Rosetta Stone, a stone slab, so a big piece of stone, inscribed with hieroglyphics or hieroglyphics written on it. In addition to hieroglyphics, the Rosetta Stone had text in Greek and a later form of Egyptian. Because the text in all three languages was the same, scholars who knew Greek figured out what the hieroglyphics said. So they had a message on there in Greek, and that same message in hieroglyphics, so they could use the Greek to figure out what the hieroglyphics were saying. Egyptian texts. Because papyrus did not decay in Egypt's dry climate, many Egyptian texts survive, meaning there's still a lot of their texts, their things that are written down, are around. Historians today can read Egyptian government and historical records, science texts, and medical manuals. Literary works have also survived, so different things like stories, poems, and mythological tales from ancient Egypt. Some texts, such as the Book of the Dead, tell about the afterlife. Others include love poems and stories about gods and kings. So just something to think about here. How is our writing system similar to hieroglyphics? So one way you could think about each of their symbols represents a sound, whereas our letters represent a sound too. So now that we've read the book pages, we're going to go ahead and click close. We're going to go now to the hieroglyphic worksheet. So go ahead and click on that. And here you can see there's 2 pages. It's page 1 of 2. So make sure you also go to the second page. So here, again, if you can't see, go ahead and zoom in. And it says writing names in hieroglyphic characters is easy. Simply substitute an equivalent hieroglyph for each letter in the name. Reference the table for letter equivalents. So what you're going to do is you're going to write your name in hieroglyphics. So you're going to look at the chart down here to figure out. So if I was putting my last name, I would draw this eagle-looking bird for the A. I would draw the little hook for the S. I would draw a cup with the handle on this side for a K. I would draw a left arm pointing that way for the E. And then draw a little baby chick for the W. So that's what you're going to do. On a separate piece of paper, you're going to write your name. You can do just your first name if you'd like. You're going to write on another piece of paper, and then you're going to send that to me. Then on the second page, it says write a secret message. So what I want you to do is you're going to write one word in hieroglyphics. And I'm going to try and figure out what word you wrote. So you're going to write your name first, and then you're going to write your secret word. So you're going to use hieroglyphics to write the word, and then I'm going to guess what your secret word is. So once you get your name written, you're going to take a picture of it, send it to me through Teams, either on chat or attaching it here to the assignment, or you can send me a picture through email or through Remind. If you have any questions, definitely send me a message on Teams, on Remind, or through email.